The benefits of sauna are well documented. Fasting too. But I wanted to know what happens when you combine them consistently. So I tested it for 30 days. Now, previously, I was an occasional sauna user. I'd use it after hockey sometimes or at a spa. I even had a sauna blanket for a while. And that was fine. But if you've used one before, you'll know it's a little bit awkward. When you're finished, you're basically left with a pool of sweat that you need to sop up, and then a soaking wet towel. It really wasn't practical to do consistently. But when I got my sauna from Sauna Space, I approached it differently. Instead of using it occasionally, I wanted to see what would happen if I committed to it, combined with intermittent fasting for 30 days. Now, before I get into what happened, let's first talk about why I even wanted to try this. Because the benefits of sauna use are really well documented. We're talking about improved cardiovascular health, better circulation, reduced inflammation, improved recovery, and even links to longevity. When you're in a sauna, your heart rate increases, your blood vessels dilate, and you get a similar response to moderate exercise. You're also, of course, sweating, which helps your body regulate temperature and also supports detox pathways. Then you layer fasting on top of that. Fasting gives your body a break from constantly digesting food. It allows insulin levels to come down, which supports fat burning and metabolic flexibility. And it also triggers processes like autophagy and cellular repair. So in theory, combining the two should be really powerful. But I also want to be really clear about something. I was very conscious going into this that I didn't want to overdo it, especially as a woman, because overfasting, undereating, or overstressing your body can severely backfire. It can disrupt our hormones, our cycle, our energy. Men generally have a bit more flexibility here. They don't need as much body fat for hormonal health, so they can push things further without immediate consequences. But for women, there is a sweet spot. So my goal with this wasn't to be extreme. I was very careful to not be undereating within my feeding window, but I did want to be consistent. So here's what my routine would look like. For the last month, I would wake up in the morning and do some form of movement. This varied depending on the day. Sometimes it was strength training, sometimes it was a run, sometimes just a walk. Nothing crazy, just moving my body. I feel so much better when I move my body in some way in the morning. Then I would go straight into the sauna, and this was all still in that fasted state. My sauna sessions were about 30 minutes long, and I would really try to not bring my phone in. Instead, I'd bring a book in, or sometimes I would even try to meditate. Easier said than done. And this is where I want to talk about the sauna itself, because this is why it was so easy to stay consistent, to build that routine, to make using my sauna a habit. The one I use is called the Firelight Sauna from Sauna Space. It uses incandescent bulbs to deliver the full range of red and infrared wavelengths. That means red, near, mid, and far infrared. So instead of just heating the air around you like a traditional sauna, it's actually delivering the full spectrum of light to your body, heating you from the inside out. And let me tell you, it feels as good as it sounds. It's much more like natural sunlight. And because of that, it feels a lot more comfortable. You don't need to have those super high temperatures in order to get the benefits. You don't even have to preheat the sauna. I just get in, turn it on, and I'm ready to go. My body starts heating up instantly. And the structure itself is soft and portable, so it's not a huge commitment in terms of setup. If you move, no problem. You can take it apart and put it back together. And let me tell you, as I mentioned at the start of this video, I used to use my sauna blanket, and I would use it pretty routinely, not every day, because like I said, the experience, it just wasn't the best. It was a little bit difficult to keep clean, and I mean, I did still use it. I did still like it, but I wasn't using it as much as I would have liked. And having a sauna like the Firelight, this makes such a difference. Like I said, you just get in, turn it on, and you're ready to go. Your body is heating up already. Because like with any healthy habit, it's consistency that leads to results. If you're not doing something consistently, if you're only doing it as a one-off, you're really not reaching your full potential. So if you're interested in the one I use, I will put that link in the description box down below. And you can use code KAIT to save 10%. After that, I would have my coffee and my first meal around 8 or 9 a.m. And then my goal would be to finish eating by 6 p.m. So my fasting window was about 14 hours each day. Nothing extreme, just structured. just consistent. And I stuck with this probably 95% of the time. There's a couple days where I had early meetings or maybe I wasn't home. So on those days, I don't think there's any day that I skipped the sauna entirely. If I wasn't able to do it in the morning, then I did it in the evening. Usually about an hour and a half before bed. And that actually has its own benefits. Because using a sauna in the evening can help with sleep. Your body heats up, and then there's a rebound effect as it cools down afterwards. And this signals your body to produce melatonin. So you fall asleep easier and you sleep deeper. Now, let's talk about what I actually noticed. The first thing was focus. When I sat down to work after my sauna session, after my morning routine, I felt so switched on. And this is something that I typically struggle with. Usually when I sit down to work, it takes a while, a little bit of procrastination, a little bit of doing anything but what I actually need to do before I get into the swing of things. Normally, it takes me a while to get going, but during this month, it felt much easier. And I think that part of that was due to the routine itself. But I also think the combination of movement, sauna, and that quiet time without my phone in the morning made a big difference. The next thing was how I felt physically. And let me tell you, there was a big difference. Now, I didn't weigh myself during this. Weight loss wasn't my goal. Like I said, I was trying really hard to make sure I wasn't under eating, even though I was intermittent fasting. But I did feel like my body was using energy more efficiently. And this makes sense. I was lifting heavy and my runs felt good. But the biggest difference I noticed was how quickly I was recovering, with next to no soreness. And this stood out to me because I do train consistently. And usually when you're lifting heavy, when you're training hard, you do expect some level of soreness. But while I was using the sauna consistently, it was noticeably reduced. And this is where the sauna really shines. Because heat exposure increases blood flow to the muscles. It helps deliver nutrients and remove waste products, which of course supports recovery. And when you layer in the full spectrum of red and infrared light, which supports mitochondrial function, which is basically your body's energy production, it helps with tissue repair and inflammation. So you're not just getting heat, you're getting a much deeper recovery effect. Another thing I noticed was a general sense of feeling more balanced, let's say. And I know that's a vague word and I don't like to use it, especially in the context of a balanced diet. That's a topic for another day. But I do think in this situation, it is a good way to describe it. My hunger felt more regulated. My moods felt more stable. And again, this could partly come down to just having a routine in general, but I really do think that the fasting and sauna combo helped to elevate it. Now, before we wrap up, we absolutely can't talk about saunas without talking about sweating. Because sweating is one of your body's natural ways of regulating temperature, but it also helps eliminate certain waste products. And for a lot of people, especially if you're not sweating regularly through exercise, this can be extremely beneficial. Most people are not sweating enough, and they're missing out on the benefits. So after 30 days, is this something I'm going to continue? The answer is yes. Now, I might miss a day or two here or there, totally fine. What matters is what you do majority of the time and not the minority. But this routine, let me tell you, I felt so switched on the whole month. I felt so good. I really didn't have any complaints at all. I was sleeping well, I was eating healthy, it was easy to stay on track, didn't have too many cravings. Like I said, recovery was excellent. I could push my body that little bit further. So yes, consistent sauna use is definitely going to be something I continue. Now I want to hear from you guys. Do you use a sauna consistently? What benefits have you noticed? Do you have one at home? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you want to check out the Firelight from Sauna Space, which is the one I use, honestly, it has been the best sauna I have ever used. I love that it also incorporates all the wavelengths. You're getting the benefits of red light therapy while you're getting the benefits of a sauna. So the time I used to spend standing in front of a red light therapy panel, the time I used to spend in my sauna blanket, now they can be combined. They're made in the USA and they come with a 10-year limited warranty. It feels like less of a commitment than getting a hard structural sauna that you have to choose exactly where it's gonna go and you have to keep it there. Because you can take the structure down, you can move it around, which is something I love. Again, that link will be in the description box down below.